the nations of Britain, France, and the United States of America have marshaled their righteous power against barbarism and brutality.
We have been following this breaking news all night. President Trump announcing within the past few hours that the U.S., France, and the U.K. have launched military action against Syria. This comes in retaliation for last week's suspected chemical weapons attack. Flares lit up the sky over the Syrian capital as the president addressed our nation tonight. Now, the president didn't specifically say which targets were there for those precision strikes or how long the strikes would last, but said that he is preparing to sustain the response until the Syrian regime stops its use of chemical weapons.
The evil and the despicable attack left mothers and fathers, infants and children thrashing in pain and gasping for air. These are not the actions of a man. They are crimes of a monster.
Strike on Syria. Here's Lester Holt.
Good evening, everyone. We're coming on the air with an update on tonight's breaking news. President Trump ordered airstrikes against multiple targets in Syria tonight. In a nationally televised statement from the White House, the president said the Allied action was in response to chemical weapons attacks in Syria a week ago that killed dozens of civilians.
The combined American, British, and French response to these atrocities will integrate all instruments of our national power, military, economic, and diplomatic. We are prepared to sustain this response until the Syrian regime stops its use of prohibited chemical agents.
Explosions have been heard tonight in Damascus and eastern Syria, and state television there reports that Syrian air defense forces have launched counterstrikes. Our chief foreign correspondent, Richard Engel, is following developments closely. He joins us now from Istanbul. What are you hearing about this attack?
Well, Lester, I think a lot of America's allies and adversaries in this region and beyond are scratching their heads tonight. They're not exactly sure what we just saw, what it means, and what the United States is prepared to do going forward. As you just played in that clip, President Trump was announcing an open-ended campaign, saying he is prepared to continue this operation until the Syrian regime stops using chemical weapons. But then, a short time after he made that statement, the Defense Secretary Mattis at the Pentagon said that while future actions are possible, depending on the reaction and the actions taken by Bashar al-Assad's regime, he stressed that this was a one-and-done operation, that it's over, that 3 targets were hit, 1 near Damascus, 2 near Homs, all associated with the Syrian chemical weapons campaign, and effectively said it's over, it's contained. So which is it? Is it a one-and-done operation, or is this now an open-ended U.S. military commitment to respond militarily every time the Syrian regime uses chemical weapons? Significantly, Defense Secretary Mattis also pointed out that the Russians, who have large numbers of forces and significant air defenses in Syria, did not fire back.
All right, Richard Engel, thank you. And we should note 3 targets hit: a scientific research center, a chemical weapons storage area, and a chemical equipment storage area. 3 targets hit. NBC's Hallie Jackson now with the latest in the White House. Any more clarity on what the policy is going forward now, Hallie?
At this point, Lester, you can look to what the president had to say. As you played, as Richard just talked about, the idea that while this is not an indefinite action in Syria, this is going to continue, or at least there is the possibility of a sustained campaign until Assad stops basically attacking his own people with these suspected chemical weapons. So I do think that there is some mixed messaging there, perhaps, in that this is a one-and-done strike, as you heard from the Pentagon, but at the same time, the president is leaving the door open. He has been reluctant to keep troops in Syria. He has expressed that, according to our reporting, to his top advisors, although he has made the decision to leave troops there. I would also note, Lester, the importance of Russia here. We've gotten a response from the Russian embassy in the U.S. late tonight, insisting the U.S. essentially apologize to Vladimir Putin. That is going to be the next geopolitical tangle on the president's plate.
Yeah, Hallie, and the White House noting that they went to lengths to avoid foreign casualties on the ground there. Thank you. Stay with NBC and this NBC station for the latest developments. For now, I'm Lester Holt, NBC News, New York. Good evening.